All right, and welcome to what you've expected from the Comics Brew and Chew podcast. Us brewing and chewing about comic-related things that aren't comic books.
Pretty much become a purely movie podcast. But
I mean, the episode before this will be
That's
comics.
true. I wasn't there for that.
No, you were not, and I made sure to mention that at the start you were not there, but you would be here for this.
Indeed, I am. Here I am.
And what is this?
Rock you like a hurricane.
That's right.
This is Spider-Man Far From Home.
Thwip, thwip.
Possibly, if I may have such a hot take, the best Spider-Man movie.
I don't know. Have you seen Spider-Man 2 with Doc Ock?
All right, well,
Have you seen The Amazing Spider-Man
the best
2?
Spider-Man movie excluding Into the Spider-Verse.
So the best live-action Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I am
Not
torn.
best animated film 2018.
I am torn between this and Homecoming. I think both of them are great. There's things about Homecoming I like better. There's things about this one I like better. I think they're both, this is my favorite, by far, take on Peter Parker.
Yeah, and today we're drinking Narragansett Dell's Watermelon Shandy.
Delicious.
Jamaican Me Happies. Pass.
We also have some non-alcoholic beverages for the children in the room, which there are none.
Except, I mean, it depends how far into Spider-Man we go. I
Yeah,
might
sure.
refer to it as a child. In which
Simply watermelon.
watermelon juice.
And then we have Oreos. And
The new-
knockoff Girl Scout cookies.
Briar, Ben and Jerry. Baskin Robbins.
Baskin Robbins.
Baskin Robbins.
Baskin Robbins is all over the place right now.
Baskin Robbins always finds out.
It's funny though. There's no Baskin Robbins anywhere around.
Well, they're the
That's
ones.
not-
There's one in Foxborough.
No, I think there's
Okay.
another one. They're only in Dunkin' Donuts.
yeah. Well, they're all. It's the same parent company.
Right.
Okay, so which Dunkin' Donuts?
There's a
is Baskin
There's a
Robbins?
Dunkin' Donuts like every half mile. From
Yeah,
here.
and like two of them still have Baskin
And
Robbins. I
Which
looked on them.
ones?
I don't
need
know.
this.
Okay. So
Scoops Ahoy, Stranger Things.
haven't seen.
the superior coffee / ice cream chain was Tim Hortons Cold Stone Creamery, but
But
rip.
They're still Cold Stone.
Yeah, not so much Tim Hortons.
Unless you go to Buffalo, then they're every mile.
Of course they are. Next time you go,
What
if
do you
you've
want?
never had an iced cappuccino from Tim Hortons, do yourself a favor and
I
get
can't
one.
bring that back. That's a native.
I know. I'm just saying, but like, if you're in the mood for like a nice cold frosty coffee drink, their frappuccinos or ice caps, whatever they were delicious.
Noted.
But does
A
Peter
coffee-
Parker like them?
A coffee toffee twisted frosty from Wendy's.
I'm getting frustrated.
I'm not frustrated.
This is
I
almost-
saw Peter Parker
I
on
talk
screen.
The movie.
I want pictures of Spider-Man.
Moving pictures of Spider-Man.
I mean, that's relatively, what's the word I want? Related. So, yeah, this is just like, it's weird having a movie that is so lighthearted and so dark
Yep.
and so sad and so happy right after Endgame. It's like a roller coaster of emotion. I would say possibly almost more than Endgame.
I don't know
I
if
mean,
I'd say
no,
more,
probably
but
not more
it's
than
a
Endgame,
totally different perspective
Yeah.
on it. Like,
It's all post-snap.
the blip.
The blip, as they renamed it, which is so dumb.
It's
Which
dumb.
leave it
I-
to high school students to call it the blip.
We're
Yeah.
snapping. It's just the
And the documentary, that when he was
Decimation.
going through the documentaries on the plane, it was referring to it as the snap. I think Kevin Feige justified it as Thanos' snap being the snap and Tony's is the blip. The one,
Yeah, because everyone just kind of came back.
or rather Hulk's being the blip,
Yeah.
bringing everyone back. Because Tony has just killed lots of alternate universe alien bad guys.
But what's weird, what do you call it, is like, there's one scene where early on they're on the plane getting ready to go to Europe, and Flash is drinking champagne,
Yep.
and because he is technically over 21 now, but someone points out to the flight attendant
MJ.
that he blipped,
Yep.
and she kind of just knew what he meant, which
Yeah.
is interesting because like in the world it's like I'm sure everyone has different
Terms.
slang for it, like because we're from the Northeast, we hear like wicked a lot because we're in the Boston area, and other places you say wicked, like what the fuck does that mean? So it's curious. I'm wondering if like in other places they just call it like the snap, the dusting, I don't know,
I still like the decimation.
the decimation. Yeah, like I think that's definitely the best name for it because that's what it was.
Yep.
Actually, fun fact about decimation, not an accurate term for what happened. Because I found this out a couple weeks ago. When you decimate something, you reduce it by 10%. As in
Okay.
a decimal.
Okay.
Oh,
So
there we go. So
what would be like a
whatever
the
is
half-imation.
yeah.
A half-summation, I don't know.
So like
exclamation.
100% would be centimation, I guess.
Yeah. So the decimation, it was just a decimal, but it wasn't a 10, it was a 5. Just an
So
interesting
5
thing.
decimations.
The 5 decimations.
Sequented defamations.
Yeah, quinted decimations.
But
the movie.
speaking of snaps, the most heartbreaking fact to find out about any character in this movie,
Peter's teacher.
Peter's teacher, whose wife left him and ran off pretending to be snapped. They had her funeral. She cheated on him and got remarried.
I just
Poor
want to point
guy.
out that the teachers were such great characters in
Yeah,
this movie.
the
JB
new one,
Smoove.
the JB
Oh my
Smoove
God.
one. It's witches.
I'm a man of science. It's obviously witches.
Which is not a totally outlandish statement in the MCU at this point.
Imagine what that character thinks of
We're not
Scarlet
there yet.
Witch.
And Doctor Strange.
Dr. Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's the new Aliens meme.
Witches.
Witches.
But the movie, obviously, to go into the plot very lightly, Peter Parker going on vacation. Weird that they all just got back from 5 years of being nowhere. They're all gonna go to Europe and have a class trip.
Well, someone pointed out it seems like it's more of like a private school / like charter school, so they do have more flexibility to work around.
Yeah.
And they mentioned that they had to restart their school year post-blip.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing this is a year after Endgame now, which puts us in 2024 at this point.
The funny thing is starts with Peter Parker doing a fundraiser event with Aunt May. Because, she knows he's Spider-Man. Happy shows up, and then Happy mentions, you're getting a call from Nick Fury. And Peter Parker buttons him, which is hilarious. Because he doesn't want to talk to Nick Fury.
He wants to talk to MJ.
And I love how Happy's like, I'm scared of him. I don't want to talk to him.
Don't make me talk to him. You do it.
Because I imagine, whenever Nick Fury shows up, Happy walks into his house and all his lights are off, and Nick Fury's sitting on the couch,
What's
So-
up, motherfucker?
Peter just wants to go on vacation. He doesn't pack his Spidey suit.
Or so.
But he
thinks.
does pack a web shooter.
That's true. But Aunt May does then just sneak it into his suitcase, and he has to explain to customs.
That is his pajamas.
What was it? They really they stopped him at customs because he brought a banana.
Yeah.
Yep.
No. And so, the lady's looking at a Spider-Man costume. But, yeah, and then, obviously, the Elementals come into play. Peter Parker gets recruited by Nick Fury and one Quentin Beck.
The hero of the film.
From an alternate universe torn open by the snap.
Yep.
And he's now trying to save our Earth from the Elementals.
Such a
After
good guy.
his Earth was destroyed.
Because allegedly, the Elementals are so powerful they could destroy the whole planet.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. But, I'd say
If it was a sick planet.
I just want Spider-Man to swing around the city again.
Exactly.
Which
And
they
thank you.
give you at the end of this
Yeah.
movie.
And it
here's
looks so great.
And you're like, yes, this is why I like Spider-Man.
I mean, Flash sums it up the best.
What?
He's from New York. He protects the neighborhood.
Yeah. Hey, Dickwad.
What's up, Dickwad?
So do we want to just jump right into spoilers, or?
I mean, yeah.
I mean, at this point, if you want to summarize the plot, you'd have to.
Yeah.
But needless to say, fights bad guy, beats bad guy, gets the goyle, goes home, doesn't get laid because he's still in high school. So, that's the thing.
But, I mean,
And then...
well, I mean...
Well, and then spoilers.
Obviously, Spider-Man goes on this globe trek. Nick Fury hijacks their school vacation, taking them from Paris to Belgium?
Yes, by way of Austria, because they were in Italy.
Yeah, they were in Venice.
They were in Venice. They were supposed to go to Paris, and instead
They go to Prague.
They go
They go to Prague. Because that's where the next Elemental shows up, which is Molten Man, which, really cool scene.
Yep.
Gets defeated.
By a Quentin Beck who's trying incredibly hard and
Yep.
almost sacrifices himself.
So you have Spider-Man and Spider-Man and Mysterio both know who each other are.
No, and just to talk Mysterio for a second, they nailed the costume again. Like, Vulture level nailed it.
It's such a good,
Boss.
what do you call it? Well, we have Homecoming on the TV screen
Sorry,
here.
Stan Lee was on
Stan
screen.
Lee just came on screen.
You punks.
Don't make me come down there, you punk. But,
The fishbowl
the fishbowl, the costume, they nailed it, and it's such a I really hope that when they do Scorpion or whoever they're gonna do for the next movie, I can't wait to see how the costume comes out.
Which I've heard some names for the next movie. I like one of them.
Home Sweet Home.
Homefront.
See, now what I kind of like
Spider-Man
is
Home for the Holidays. Make it a Christmas movie.
Can't go home.
Done. Spider-Man can't go home.
After the credit scene.
Introduce the Fantastic Four, include Benjamin J. Grimm. Home for the Holidays. You can have Hanukkah too.
There you go.
I mean, Iron Man 3 kind of hits that whole Christmas type set movie.
Because it's a Shane Black movie, so of course it does.
But Spider-Man Home for the Holidays, or I don't know, Home Sweet Home.
Home on the Range.
Oh,
Home on the Range.
That is so boring. He's in Wyoming running through cornfields with nothing to swing on.
Have you seen that GIF of Spider-Man if you lived outside of New York?
Yeah.
He runs across a farmhouse, shoots out the web, and then falls.
Well, he does that in this movie. He's in the suburbs, and he's like, he's in a golf course, and he's just like, this. He's running. He's like, this sucks. But so they defeat the last elemental, so they think, in Prague, the Molten Man, because they fight Hydro Man in Venice.
Sandman
and Sandman in Mexico
at the start of the film.
Yeah, which you only see like Nick Fury and Maria Hill show up because they're back.
And some people have said that should have been the stinger at the end of Endgame, was that scene tie-ins, which I understand the argument. They're saying that be the stinger, go right into the start of Spider-Man, with him in school, talking to Ned about his plan to hit on MJ. Then go from there and then reintroduce everything that was happening.
I think the idea of that being the post-credit stinger of
takes
Endgame
away
takes
from
away
from
Endgame.
Endgame was all about, like, I was glad Endgame didn't have a credit scene. I think the little just Iron Man's clanging was the perfect post-credit thing they could have done there.
And I get Endgame ended perfectly. I just saw where they were coming from with it. Kind of felt more like a stinger moment for the end of a movie than it did the beginning of a movie. Tom, I swear to God, if the audio is fucked up because you keep moving the microphone.
I'm adjusting the computer that it's running out of.
But we just noticed starting Homecoming that the two movies kind of parallel one another, though. It starts off with an introduction to the villains, and then juxtaposes into student-made film about something. Homecoming being Peter Parker venturing to Germany in his own private documentary
to fight the Avengers.
To Far From Home, where it cuts to a high schooler made in memoriam montage.
Comic Sans.
Like,
I Will Always Love You memorial.
Yeah, memorial. With like photoshopped images of like just legit scenes from other movies.
Yeah, they're just production stills.
Yeah. It's like
I just love how like they actually have like good pictures of Captain America and Iron Man, and Black Widow's is like her at the Sokovia Accords.
Yep.
And then Visions is like a cam rip like 240 picture of him above the Berlin airport.
Yep.
And it's like, I mean, granted, I'm sure like people never got close to Vision.
Yeah.
And if they did, they didn't recognize him because he had like his Paul Bettany skin on.
There's like a lot of sad smart refrigerators out there, but
this is a smart refrigerator that just it's like
won't stop making ice cubes.
I miss you, Vision.
Wakes up at night just chunking ice.
You're like, grrr.
Wanda's walls haven't been phased through in a while.
Man, if this podcast, like, the recording's busted on it, that is, like, the perfect wasted joke. But,
so, you know, the trek across Europe fighting
Elementals.
The Elementals. And then it comes out in Prague while Peter's trying to swoon Mary Jane.
Meanwhile,
with her favorite flower, which is, what was that?
Black Dahlia.
Dahlia, yeah. After the murder.
Of course.
But, they make this discovery that, the Elementals aren't real. Or, well, they're some kind of, like, weird drone thing. Nice.
The
fifth guest on the podcast.
Siri.
For some reason, it was looking up George Orwell, too, so.
Weird. Big Brother is watching. That's super spooky. What if it was looking up Vision?
Siri is in love with Vision, too.
Siri said.
Maytag refrigerators.
But so yeah, it comes out that.
Mysterio's
First off, Peter gets these glasses. We're kind of skipping ahead all over the place. Peter gets these
glasses.
the Edith glasses from Tony Stark. It was left to him in his will, and Nick Fury gives it to him. And Edith is
by
like
the way-
Karen or Friday or Jarvis.
Nick Fury finds Peter in Venice in his hotel room, knocks out Ned,
Yeah, if you've seen the trailers, it's like,
and then
Then he goes for a boat ride with
he
Nick
goes for
Fury.
a boat ride.
And they hang out in the sewers.
He said you wouldn't get it because it's not Star Wars.
Yeah. But, so the glasses, Edith, which is a clever anagram by Tony Stark, which
Yep.
is, even dead, I'm the hero. So, these glasses are like, they have access to all the Stark satellites, all the resources. Peter can call drones and all this crazy stuff with the glasses.
Tony left Peter the keys to the castle.
And he pretty much said, for the next Tony Stark.
Yep.
Which, then later in the movie, Peter reads it as it's his job to find the next Tony Stark.
Yep.
Which he gives the glasses to Quentin Beck.
Right.
Turns out, Quentin Beck was working for Stark for
On
a
the
while.
Barf project.
He made
primarily.
the Barf project. And Mysterio isn't one person in this movie, so to speak. Mysterio is a
collaboration.
It's a collaboration production of people who are faking these catastrophes, but not faking them.
Yep.
And using it to build this hero of Mysterio, who is then, Quentin Beck. And there's a cool callback to, he made the Barf technology from Civil War, and he's using those holograms projected by drones
Yep.
to make the damage.
Meanwhile, other drones are causing the damage.
Yeah. It's all an illusion, which is very Mysterio.
And
But
on
instead of
that
being-
note, I love that Mysterio's real suit is literally just a mocap suit. It's just a mocap suit, and I love it.
So it comes out that it's just like a real movie.
Yep.
He has a wearable prop version if he needs to make an appearance, and then he has his CGI version when he's flying around
Yep.
being Mysterio. But so Peter thinking, oh, Quentin Beck's the next Iron Man. Look, he's such a good guy. He's doing
He
all this
flies.
stuff.
He shoots lasers out of his hands.
Gives him the glasses. And then that's when his whole plan comes forward that him and a group of disgruntled Stark employees,
Including the best disgruntled Stark employee of all time.
Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave.
With a box of scraps!
I lost it.
That
lost
guy
it
from
there.
Iron Man 1 comes back and he's like, yeah,
And we don't-
I don't know why I'm mad at Stark. The other guy yelled at me.
We don't mean Stain came back. We mean the dude that Stain
The dude
yells
who,
at.
Yeah. Like,
The schlubby scientist who's just
scraps,
standing
yeah.
there. Because, box of scraps will always be Stain's line. But,
When is the Galaga Shield agent going to come back? Because he's pissed at Tony for calling him out.
I know, right? You got fired over Galaga.
that's going to be the third movie.
The third movie, he's going to be the villain.
That would be
Who are,
hilarious.
who are Peter
though.
Parker's villains? People Stark pissed off.
Going after his son.
But obviously then Peter's trying to stop Mysterio. Mysterio knows. And it ends with a final confrontation with a fifth elemental in London. Which, Peter knows, Mysterio knows that Peter knows, because he does this really cool scene where Mysterio tricks him into meeting at, a S.H.I.E.L.D. base.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, there's it's an incredible scene with Mysterio making, illusions.
In
It's
illusions.
very trippy. It throws Peter off his A game.
It's literally 2 minutes of film.
Yeah.
And
but
it's probably the second most outstanding scene.
And it feels like
Yep.
it goes on for 5 or 10.
It gives the Doctor Strange acid trip a bit of a run for its money. It's excellent.
Yeah, it's
I've
very much like
Run
that.
for its money? It's probably better than the acid trip, because the acid trip is just what is...
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely has a greater impact on the character than
Yeah.
the Doctor Strange one.
I mean,
But-
it also, contextually makes sense. The Doctor Strange one, again, is just...
what? Who?
Um,
But
Ancient one? But you're
so
white.
Peter hits his low when Mysterio breaks him because Peter's not sure what to believe, who is real, what is real. Happy comes to pick him up in the Netherlands because he gets hit by a train, and that's where he ends up.
And then he ends up in a Netherlands prison with a bunch of soccer fans, which he breaks out of and then returns their shirt. No, keeps their shirt. They gave him a shirt because they found him naked.
Yeah. I also love how, like, they're all locked in prison with him, and he breaks the lock and walks out, and they close the prison cell door and sit back down.
Well, 'cause they know the guard.
Yeah.
It's very much, not to say it is, but it feels like the scene from Guardians where, like, Quill fucking goes by the guard room but goes in and actually gets his shit back.
Yeah.
In this one, the guard's, like, fucking playing around in the Night Monkey mask.
Oh, yeah. So Peter obviously has to change his costume so people don't put two and two together as to who he is. And at one scene, someone's like, "Is that Spider-Man?" And Ned's like, "No, that's a European knockoff of him. His name is the Night Monkey." Which
Ned is fantastic.
I can't wait for Night Monkey Home for the Holidays. Which sounds like a campy 90s, like, animal movie. Like, we brought a monkey home.
I feel like somebody needs to write this now.
Night Monkey Home for the Holidays. Mm-hmm. I'll get right on it. I'll call Kevin Feige.
There we go.
Apparently, with the lineup they got, they'll take anything right now.
Yeah. Anyways, so, Peter has this regroup with Happy. And,
the best scene in the film.
He needs to he needs to build a new suit because his is all messed up and he needs
his
some extra firepower for. Oh yeah, true. His is gone. He needs some extra firepower for fighting the drones and Mysterio.
Spider-Man far from suit.
And Happy's like, "Oh, there's a workshop in the back," and Peter's in the workshop, and Happy's like, "You do that. I'll put on music."
Well, before we move on,
this
is a scene we need to talk about. I don't care if we talk about it now or later, but I'm choosing to talk about it now.
We'll talk about it now. So, Happy puts on Back from Black. Or Back in Black, sorry.
I love Led Zeppelin.
Which is Peter's line. He's like, "Oh, I love Led Zeppelin." And
entire theater sighs.
And, like, the best part is, like, it's weird because, like, he's in this black, tight, like, t-shirt.
Yeah.
Very similar to what Tony would wear in the early Iron Man movies. And he's playing with holograms, and he's designing his suit. And the whole time you're just like, "Oh, my God. He is the next Tony Stark."
He goes, "Increase that by 25%. And then he does the gauntlet where he pulls the hard light gauntlet up, puts his hand in it, and does the same look around that Tony does in Iron Man 1 when he looks at where the repulsor is. And that's how he designs the new suit.
And it's like with Back in Black playing. And like the whole time Happy's watching
just
and like
staring at him.
Trying not to cry.
Meanwhile, he's also imagining becoming his like step uncle.
Which is weird.
Happy's gotten much better with this kid.
But oh my God. Oh, that scene is just such a good scene.
And right before it, when Peter explodes on Happy and then kind of admits that he's missing Tony, and that's kind of where that outburst came from that leads into that. And
it's such a good portrayal of loss, though, too.
It's just, It's,
and
like, I
Happy trying to give him stitches.
Yeah.
I thought you had superpowers. It still hurts.
I love how, like, I forgot where I was going with this. I lost my train of thought.
Did it hit you?
No, I hit Spider-Man. It's in the Netherlands now. I lost it. Yeah, it's gone. There it goes.
Suit.
Yeah.
The whip.
Suit.
Flip.
The whip.
No, it's gone.
It's gone.
So, fun fact.
Like Thanos snapped my idea away.
They land in England to go save all Peter's friends because Peter's friends have been abducted by the guys in Mysterio's group.
Yeah.
And when Happy gets there, he's like, "Hey, I know Spider-Man," which immediately turns into, "Hey, I work for Spider-Man."
And Flash is like, "You work for Spider-Man?" Which is, well, I mean, Mysterio's after part of Peter because he thinks his friends know that he's a hack.
Yeah.
And he's not actually a hero.
Because at this point, MJ knows everything, and she had put together on her own that Peter is Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's true. MJ's put that together, which is interesting. It's the MJ plot kind of takes backseat to everything else, which is good because I felt like in the Raimi trilogy, sometimes the MJ stuff was a little too heavy-handed, and it's like, I just don't fucking give a shit.
I also like the chemistry with him and Zendaya in this a lot more than Toby and...
And Tobey Maguire and
what's her face?
Kirsten Dunst.
I mean, to be fair, like, they were both just, like, very
30-year-old high school students.
Like,
hey, this is a paycheck?
I'm gonna kiss you upside down. Like, why? You don't even know who he is. That's a little weird.
But, But when MJ's plot does come up in this movie, it's at least at like critical points when it needs to.
Yeah, and it makes sense. It works.
And it does have a lot of focus, especially in the first half, when the kind of teen comedy road trip is, a wider focus. And then as the Mysterio stuff starts seeping more and more in, and Fury continues hijacking the vacation, things kind of flip-flop on that end. But yeah.
Also, what's his face? Tony, Nick Fury. Keeps chastising Spider-Man, like, oh, be a hero. Stop being on, and Peter's like, I'm on vacation. I just want to enjoy my vacation. Which I imagine how it would go with Nick Fury.
Yeah. Bitch, I don't get a vacation.
There's a very interesting scene where
Well,
Peter brings up, he's like, what about, there's other more qualified people for this.
Yeah.
And Thor, off-world. And it struck me as weird at the time, but Peter goes, Captain Marvel, and Nick Fury goes, don't you invoke her name. I was like, wow, he's completely replaced, everybody with, he used to be, now he's the captain of the Captain Marvel fan club.
After you see the movie and you find out that they're cool with each other, Nick's suddenly yo, that is my Avenger.
When did she come up with that name, Captain Marvel? Because she's never referred to it by name in the movie.
It must be
and then she just shows up in 2024 and she's like, Captain Marvel.
well,
Steve must have been like, what the fuck?
it's the scene in the kitchen.
Right, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. It's been a while since I've seen it.
Nobody else saw that movie as many times as you did.
I watch it at least once a week.
I don't even own it on Blue yet.
I do.
I considered it.
I have the...
I need to get it. I've been putting it off.
I have all the movies I've been looking for the most part.
I mean, the only two I
Dildo.
don't own physical. I don't own Thor Ragnarok. But
I
I
do.
do have it. I have it digitally. And then I don't have Captain Marvel yet, but I plan on getting it.
I might.
But yeah, in that scene, that's where we learn a lot about the supposed multiverse,
Yeah.
parallel reality that Beck comes from, which
Isn't he
obviously
from
we learn is a farce.
616?
No,
No,
he
we're
calls
616.
this 616.
Oh, right.
This is not 616.
What is the MCU? Isn't it like...
One
199.
with a bunch of nines.
And then an 8 at the end, right?
Something like
Yeah,
that.
it's like-
Because 616 is the main comic universe.
Yeah.
1616
Yes, so
is
let's
the
not
Ultimate
share
Universe.
that.
But,
Actually, neither exists now thanks to Secret Wars, where now it is Earth Prime, or Prime Earth. Is the
That
name
sounds
of the
very
universe.
like a DC label.
It does, but that's what they went with. And then the Fantastic Four are off in the multiverse, just like, you get a universe, and you get a universe, because I'm Franklin Richards, and I can do that.
Nice.
but anyways, so...
Comics.
The final confrontation happens in London. Happy's trying to save Peter's friends.
And by Peter's friends, they mean MJ, Ned,
And Flash.
Flash,
And Betty.
And Betty.
Because Ned and Betty get together for like a week. High school.
But so Peter's destroying drones inside. He gets inside the hologram, and he's destroying drones and.
Which, I mean, it sounds impressive, but at the same point in time, it's a hologram. You don't really need to
Yeah.
get into much.
But the most impressive scene is he starts killing the drones, and Mysterio's like, oh. There's a cool scene where Peter's has to get up to where Mysterio is, but Mysterio has this rotating sentry guards of drones with guns protecting him, and Peter grabs the plate, this iron plate that says the Tower Bridge.
Yeah.
And he grabs
I think
this.
I think
It's
a
like a
manhole
plaque.
cover.
Yeah. No, it's a plaque.
Oh, yeah.
And then he grabs a drone.
Yeah, and he makes a little...
And the drone is it has an arc reactor on it, and it's this. It almost looks like the way he wields it is almost like Thor's hammer.
Yeah.
So you have Spider-Man with a shield,
And Thor's hammer.
something reminiscent of Thor's hammer that's also powered by an arc reactor.
Yep.
So he does this thing where he spins it like Thor does, and he throws it up in the air, destroys a bunch of drones. He uses the big metal plaque as a shield,
Yep.
and you're like, he's learning, he's growing
And
up,
then he-
my little boy.
Bounces off of this pulse...
This
machine.
pulse thing, and it
Shoots up in
blasts
the
him
air.
up to where Mysterio
To
is.
one of the greatest hallway scenes outside, maybe even better than the Marvel TV shows.
Oh, it's
When he finally fights Mysterio and he fucking Peter tingles the whole time.
So he calls the Spidey sense Peter Tingle.
Well, he doesn't. He calls it a Spidey sense. Aunt May calls it a Peter Tingle.
Tingle.
And then she tells Happy. So Happy calls it a Peter Tingle. And he's like, we need to stop. But, and then he, like...
Mysterio creates an illusion, and it's
Yeah.
all... and obviously Spider-Man can't trust what he... what
he sees.
He can't trust what his eyes are seeing, so he blacks out.
He closes his eyes and then runs through the hallway and, like, Jedi Force senses everything, destroys
drones fly
every
out.
drone, gets to Mysterio, and then you hear a gunshot. And next thing you see is the Mysterio that was on the ground wasn't there, it was another illusion. Beck had pulled a pistol on Peter and went to shoot him, and Peter grabbed it at the last second.
I thought Peter caught the bullet. I thought he was going to have the bullet, and I would have been like, ooh,
That would be real difficult, seeing as how Peter isn't bulletproof.
that's true. But he caught it.
If he caught it.
He just lose some fingerprints. Doesn't seem like a bad
he
thing
caught
for a
it.
superhero.
He caught it when it, like, lodged itself between his fingers.
Yeah.
But
He
yeah.
caught it the way Kennedy got one.
Hey. But, yeah, so catches Beck. Beck actually does take a couple shots from his drones,
Yeah.
which leads to his death, right?
I'm gonna call. I think he's dead.
Yeah, I think he's dead too.
I think he's firm 100% dead.
It's Marvel. The villain has to be dead.
Yeah.
But it's Marvel. The hero didn't kill the villain.
But-
They don't do that.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, Iron Man's murdered some of his.
Right. But, like...
technically, if you want to consider it, Pepper killed Obadiah Stane.
And kind of Whiplash.
Oh, yeah, too. Yeah. But,
And
it's just...
didn't she also kill fucking, what's his
Killian.
face?
Killian.
There
Pepper
we
Potts
go.
was a murderer. Tony Stark's hands were clean. The only person he ever killed was Thanos.
And, lots of terrorists, terrorists.
Oh, yeah. But, so, Spider-Man's all like, I did it. It'd be Mysterio. Mysterio's like, And Mysterio also was going to try and kill Fury, too, but
Right.
Maria Hill was a badass.
You got me? I got you.
So then, like, wraps up, Peter and MJ go swinging around New York City.
Oh.
You see the new Stark Tower, or whatever it is.
whatever.
By
it's
the way,
gonna
can I
be.
just point out that on the way to England, Happy calls Fury and gives him this, like, just random-ass message about, like, a surfboard Tony left him.
Yeah.
And that was, like,
Yep.
the entire, like, hidden message for, like, yo, watch out.
Yeah.
Boom. Like, rocket launcher, like, hangs off a building. Maria Hill destroys a drone with Gatling guns sent for Fury.
Yeah, and then
But the web swinging through New York, man,
I love it.
I need
More of
injected
that.
into my veins, please.
Now, also, I love that, unlike previous iterations, MJ's like, nah, not cool.
Yeah,
Don't
no,
like
she's
that. Like, it's
terrified.
not. That can't be fun, just holding on to somebody while swinging from buildings.
There's also an interesting thing, which at this point might as well be confirmed, but when at one point they land at the base of Stark Tower,
Yep.
and there's like, they've always put up like the fences with the banners so
Yeah.
you can't see how ugly the construction is. And the banner has like 1, 2, 3, and then it says, "We can't wait to show you what's next." And a lot of people took that as a Fantastic Four reference, like
Which,
they're
after
coming.
a certain
Which-
name drop at Comic Con.
Yeah, well, I mean, they pretty much confirmed they're making it, right?
Yeah, they're doing something. He didn't have time to talk about it yet.
Yet.
Convenient. But
There were a lot of other announcements.
that's true. But we'll get into that.
I'm excited.
So post-credit scene
So reason
1,
Amanda's here.
right, is the Fury one?
No,
No.
scene 1 is the swinging
The
through
best
New York.
one.
Right. So the movie ends with them swinging, and then like it rolls like the first intro credits. Credits part 1.
Credits the first.
The pre-credit scene credits.
Yep.
And
The initial, the cool credits where they get like the music and like
Yeah,
the
the
animation
stylized
and stuff.
ones,
Yeah,
and you're like,
and
"Wow,
they're
this
like,
is interesting."
"Oh, Tom Holland, Spider-Man."
the credits that not a lot of people take their phones out during.
Yeah,
And it ends. Peter lands with MJ, and she's like, "Oh my god!" And he's like, "All right, I'll see you later." He jumps on top of a lamp. He's about to take off, and there's like
suddenly
a news,
one
there's
of
a
those
news
big
bulletin.
news bulletins on the buildings that they
A
always have. In New
Daily
York.
Bugle.
and it's like this just
No.
in.
It's like a legitimate news source.
Yeah,
This just in.
this just in. Like we received a video from
The
Quickenback.
No, the controver.
Oh, well, like
The-
so yeah, they
The controversial news site.
The Daily
Bugle.
Because Alex Jones, basically.
And then they cut to
J. Jonah Jameson.
no P.K. Simmons.
J.K.
Simmons.
I'm thinking P.K. Subban. J.K. Simmons. J.K.
Yeah.
Rowling shows up, and she's like, "It was Dumbledore the whole time." This movie
J.R.R.
took-
Tolkien shows up.
George Martin, what?
But yeah, so
Shut
Simmons shows up.
And he starts talking about how he received a video from Quentin Beck revealing that Spider-Man was responsible for all the drone attacks.
Yep.
And that Spider-Man
And he
killed
used
him.
like a well-edited, or not well-edited, but recorded video of Spider-Man being like, execute them all. And what Peter meant was execute all the drones, but the way the video is edited and manipulated makes them think Peter's executing
Wait,
the attack.
Mysterio manipulates things? Wow.
So J.K. Simmons is up there yelling about Spider-Man. He goes, and I have a hot tip. Quentin Beck in the video, in his post-mortem video, decides to say, Spider-Man is Peter Parker.
And we leave on
and
that note.
it ends the same way that Homecoming ends, with someone going,
What the
fuck?
fuck?
And it cuts.
But the best thing, though, is when he's revealing the identity, you're not sure at first if he's going to get it all out.
'Cause
it
it
keeps
cuts, the
cutting
video
out.
cuts out.
And you're like, oh, God. And then all of a sudden he just says it. And then the entire reaction of the theater is, what the fuck?
Shit.
And then the boring credits.
I like,
Hey!
the credits themselves.
What?
I
Yeah.
thought you meant the other credit scene.
No, I just mean, like, sitting there for 10 minutes waiting for, like...
Waiting for the next scene.
Yeah. Cameraman number 6, John Smith.
If you
We
give,
should
if you
used
give
to this by now.
if you give them credit for something, Marvel has made a way for people to watch the credits. How many people, like...
Nobody watches the credits. They
I
sit there and talk
mean-
to their friends while the credits roll.
That's true, but at the same time, it's like...
I go to the bathroom and come back because I know there's another scene, but I got time.
I mean, when you see that, though, you see all those people who worked on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, this really isn't just
No, but I
a
sat
couple
there and
guys
I
with cameras
yeah.
and all the stars.
I sat there
It's
and I went,
tons of people.
yo, what part of this movie got filmed in Australia?
Yeah, I was wondering that, too. I wonder if the beginning scene...
Weird, because, like, California's right down the street from Mexico.
That's true.
But, as we all know. But, yeah. And right before we get into the final scene, one of the last things they show in the credits is the songs used during the movie.
Oh, who cares? They used the ska song.
Yeah,
Freddie's
that was
very
big
happy.
for me because it's a message to you, which is a fantastic song.
It was the first time more than 80 people heard a ska song.
Yes, it's a big deal for me. I made a crappy joke in our group chat about it, but like,
Well, your joke was you put
Scavengers?
Scavengers, and I read it as Scavengers. I'm like, who
Yeah.
the fuck is the Scavengers? Is that like the Ravagers, but
Yes.
they scavenge with a K? Like,
but they used that song, but my thing was I was like, we never hear that song in the entire movie. Where was it? And then next thing I know, the end credit scene is playing.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's where it is. Oh, this is
so
weird.
you mean not 80 million people heard it, just the people who stayed for the end credits?
Exactly.
Just the smart people who know how to
Yeah.
Marvel movies.
Still more than the regular amount of people have ever listened to that song.
Probably, yeah.
Everyone who listened to ska wore Jinko jeans at one point. I'll fight anyone who disagrees.
I've never worn Jenko jeans.
Okay, well, Fred's the
Fred's the exception.
Not every person who wears Jinko jeans. No, not every person who listens to ska wears Jinko jeans.
But-
But everyone who wore Jinko jeans
Listens to
ska
ska.
music.
Yup.
So, all you know is Fury's driving down the street and he's probably equally as badass
Probably
as
an Audi.
I was gonna
And
say
it's
as
shot
badass as
just like the Infinity War credit scene.
I was gonna say
to
as in
start.
Winter Soldier. It's probably another one of those cars. It's got
Yeah.
like a fucking Gatling gun in the glove
And can
compartment.
fly.
But like, he's driving down the street, and then next thing you know, it's not Sam Jackson sitting there.
It's Ben Mendelsohn. Or Talos.
Talos and his
Captain
wife Soren as Hill.
Yep. And they're arguing over whether or not the whole time he knew Quentin Beck was the bad guy. And then you find out that Sam Jackson, a.k.a. Nick Fury, ain't even on Earth. He's chilling up on a Skrull spaceship.
But it looks like he's on vacation.
It
Yeah.
looks like he's on vacation.
Which is funny because he's like, Spider-Man, don't
Can't
be on
take
vacation.
vacation.
And Fury is literally on vacation. In space, which goes back to
Which makes
his
it
whole...
a spacecation.
Yep.
Remember his whole justification for calling Spider-Man was, you've been to
Bitch,
space.
you've been...
Yep.
Bitch, please. You've been to
Now
space.
Fury's been to space again.
And it was an alien yelling that at Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Which goes back to the whole "don't you invoke her name,"
Yep.
going back to the
And
scrolls, like
also-
absolute fear, or is it like
Admiration.
admiration of her.
But also, there was another little bit of setup in the body of the film when Fury and Maria, Talos and Soren are walking, and they mention something about a Kree outpost that they were scouting out.
Oh, okay.
Which I took as just, I guess Fury and Hill are looking for the Kree, but it was really Talos and Soren looking for the Kree.
And the other big one was the switch from the trailer to the actual movie, which was Sam Jack. In the trailer, it says he came to our Earth from another Earth.
Yep.
In the movie, Talos says he came to your Earth from another Earth.
Which that went right over my head.
Yeah. Oh, you don't even notice because you're just like, this is so cool. Fury's talking to Spider-Man. He's gonna be a spy.
But yeah, so what do you guys think? Is Fury currently setting up Sword? Because that's my guess.
I think that's what it is.
That would be dope.
I bet
It has
Fury
to
is
be.
setting
He's
up
in
Sword.
a big space station. You see like spaceships taking off. And
I 100% it's Sword, if you ask me.
Which means we get Abigail Brand, the green-haired bitch of space.
I don't know what that is.
She's
cool. She runs
director of
Sword.
Sword, I
Okay.
think.
Well, I think it might be Fury this time. I know he'll probably stay doing his spy stuff.
Maybe,
Or-
I mean,
I'm
he
just waiting
doesn't
for
have S.H.I.E.L.D. anymore, and things are a lot bigger than Earth at this point.
I'm just waiting for Norman Osborn to show up and just found Hammer because he can.
And for people who don't know what Sword is, it's Sentient World Observation?
I forget.
Yo,
the
it's Space
acronym,
Shield.
but
Something-
it's
yeah.
Shield in space.
Yeah, instead of keeping an eye on threats on the planet, they look at threats to the
Everywhere.
planet. Because obviously at this point, aliens are like a thing.
That's come down to Earth every few weeks. We've had Dark Elf invasions and Chitauri
so
and Thanos twice.
So 2012 there was like the Chitauri, and then they had the Dark Elves, and then they had the Blob from Guardians 2, and then they had like
The Thanos invasion in 2018, the Thanos invasion in 2023, the big Destroyer armor came down in 2011.
yeah. So
There were Skrulls and Kree fighting on our planet in the 90s, but that one was kept out of the public eye.
So witches.
So witches.
We're getting there.
yeah, I mean,
Almost.
but
Halloween's right around the corner.
We'll talk more about witches. Oh, the book? I like that book. We'll get more to witches in the next when we talk about
Yeah.
SDCC 2019, the official reveal of Facebook.
Everything.
But
But we'll get there.
we'll get there. All in due time. Just like Spider-Man will get back home. We will finish this review. Not now, but it'll be a thing.
But yeah,
Because we haven't really reviewed as much as we've
talked about and broken
Well,
down some
we-
scenes.
we've reviewed the movie. We haven't given our opinions on the movie.
I have Spider-Man home videos. That's it. That's the next one.
And it's all found footage.
It's all just him, like,
As a kid.
yeah, like
doesn't-
swinging into
doesn't-
stuff, accidental nut shots.
Doesn't
Bloopers.
Homecoming set up that the Stark suit is always recording so Tony can go and watch playback?
Yeah.
Yeah, but who's going to watch it now?
Edith.
Even in death, I'm happy.
Yeah, Edith sends it all to Happy and to Aunt May.
So, I'm not going to lie. I thought the line was going to mean more than it did. Heavy is the head that wears the crown.
I don't remember that.
It's something like that. There's the quote that comes with the Edith glasses.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought that was going to be like the safe word or like the fail-safe password for Peter to override Edith. Because I figured Beck would have like blocked Peter out of the system instead of Peter just being like, oh yeah, I'm just going to see those glasses real quick. Oh, I can turn it off.
By the way, huge oversight on Tony Stark for not thinking that Spider-Man would somehow mess up giving the glasses to the wrong person.
Right.
Especially someone who worked at his company and
Yeah.
was disgruntled. Huge mistake.
You know, Tony was under a lot of stress.
That's true. Raising a child, he probably didn't have time.
The rampant alcoholism.
I think that if there was one theory about the movie that I laughed at the most, there were theories that Quentin Beck was going to be Uncle Ben from the alternate universe, and I was like, if he's from the alternate universe, how isn't Peter going to go, hey, you're my Uncle Ben, aren't
Yeah.
you dead? Like, such a stupid idea.
And then there were the people that were saying he was Peter from another universe.
Or
and
like Stark's son from an alternate universe. I never bought he was from the alternate universe.
I
never
was-
fell for it
yeah.
not once.
If it was anyone but Mysterio, I would have believed it.
See, here's
but
the thing.
because he's Mr. Illusions,
I never saw the part where he says he's from an alternate universe in the trailer, so I'm like, cool. Like, I just glazed over that.
I mean, that was the focal point of the second trailer.
See, I glazed
The
over
big
that.
spoilery trailer.
Yeah, I don't even know if I watched that. I just watched the first one. I was like,
Spider-Man,
I
I'm
was,
in.
I was already going to see this movie anyways. So, like, why am I going to watch the trailer for it?
But you definitely check this one out. If you like Spider-Man, if you like Marvel,
Yep.
don't miss it.
It's the cap on Phase 3, the little, kind of epilogue after the finale that was Endgame.
This is the official end of the end.
Does some really great things for Spider-Man's, Peter Parker's character, and sets up, both him and the wider universe in some great ways moving forward.
And some pretty awesome throwbacks.
Yes, a lot of
Yeah.
But the two greatest character developments in this whole movie. One, Ned. He is now a master of romance. He understands women. He is a man that has traveled the world. He is
all in the same week.
He is a modern day Renaissance man. He loves the opera, after all.
Ned is the world's most interesting man. It's a shame he's not old enough to drink yet. The Yankees would be all over it.
Right.
Also, on that note, I love that Peter's whole inner circle snapped.
Yeah, pretty much most of his
Yeah.
The one kid who doesn't went from this ugly kid to some hot kid who was trying to get with MJ.
Okay. And then Peter almost, calls in a drone strike on him.
After I love the fact that he's like, yo, I got a picture of Peter coming out of the bathroom, and later on JB Smooth's like, yo, you can't be doing that. But,
JB Smooth was so great.
at the beginning of the movie, he starts, he eats up every scene. And he started doing that, and I was like, this man is going to make this movie.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. But then,
both of the teachers are great. I just love how contrasting the two of them are.
So, the Da Vinci exhibit's closed, so...
Did you even check the schedule?
But, the second character that gets the most development, Flash Thompson.
That bit at the very end was kind of heartbreaking.
It
with
was.
his mom not showing up.
Same point in time, I don't know if we needed it. I would have been cool without it.
I mean, I don't know. It's an interesting development for a character who could still plenty of room for him to grow.
No, there is. Same point in time, just throughout the trip too, seeing him hey, I'm a vlogger. I do live streams from my phone. The fact he calls his fandom of probably
The Flash Mob.
The Flash Mob, is great.
His whole fandom is happy.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Also, he's Spider-Man's #1 fan and
Yeah.
everything. And I would have loved if the alternate scene was not Peter seeing it, but was Flash seeing it.
We'll probably get that in the third one.
Yeah.
His hero.
But which is a great callback to the comics of Flash being a huge Spider-Man fan. But then the fact that there is that scene in the hostel where he's like, yo, it's Spider-Man. He protects the neighborhood. He's one of us.
Yeah.
Immediately looks at Peter because he walks in.
Hey, dickwad.
What up, dickwad? And I've seen a lot of people online real angry that that kid's still Flash because he won't end up becoming Agent Venom, which would never happen in this universe anyways.
They can. Sony ate Venom.
But the overall fact that he's not the Flash people are looking for. Meanwhile, I've seen his interview where he talks about meeting with Stan Lee and how emotional that was, and Stan Lee was like, "You're gonna do great."
Yeah. And I mean, he's very much a 21st century bully. He's not the jock that's gonna punch you and throw you in a locker. He's manipulating you on social media and just
Because bullying is very different now and then.
Yeah.
Back in the day, a bully could threaten you with a knife. Nowadays, that doesn't happen. I mean, it could.
It could.
Who am I to say?
But that goes a little above bullying.
Yeah.
Usually the kid that gets bullied brings the knife, but... I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. It's another one of those weird things where it's good, but it kind of sucks that it had a follow-up Endgame.
See, I like getting something... Same thing with, after Ultron getting Ant-Man. I like getting the lighter movie as, the palate cleanser immediately after.
But, here's the thing. You really needed your palate cleansed after Ultron. Endgame was solid. And, I'm not saying that detracts at all from Spider-Man, but, to go from a movie like that to, dealing with the ramifications, but also being, entirely about another character and kind of seeing the world at large dealing with it is an entirely separate thing.
I think if it was up to Marvel, it wouldn't have followed, within a month.
Right.
That was a Sony locking in the release date thing.
I feel like it happened, kind of close afterwards. So Endgame was still... I'm pretty sure Endgame's still in theaters.
Yeah.
And,
it's still in theaters now. It just passed Avatar, 2 days ago.
Is that counting or not counting the re-release with all the footage that doesn't exist?
That's counting it, but counts. Avatar also got 2 re-releases.
That's true. No, I'm just saying. But, it's a solid movie. It's a good time. It's a great Spider-Man movie. I don't know if I like it more than Homecoming.
It's the first Spider-Man movie since, I guess you could say it's the first Spider-Man movie since Amazing Spider-Man to only feature one. No, I guess the Elementals are technically villains.
But I mean, they're all Quentin Beck. Like, that's his villainy at play, and they're not real things.
It's the first like Spider-Man movie to only feature him as the hero since like probably Amazing Spider-Man 2. Because Civil War, he's thrown in with everybody else. Both Avengers, Endgame, and Infinity War, he's thrown in with everybody else.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 1, it's Iron Man all the time.
I think I might slightly prefer Homecoming, and the one thing that boils down to is the car scene on the way to the dance. That whole scene in the car where
Beck,
Vulture finds out is fantastic. Like, I love everything about that scene, even like stupid little details like where they're sitting at the red light and he's figuring it out, and he figures it out like right as the light turns green.
Yeah.
And like just little things, like everything about that scene is perfect. And I love Far From Home, I love Homecoming. I think that one scene gives Homecoming the slight edge for me, but I love this take on Spider-Man. I've loved him, both of his standalone movies, all three of his, appearances in, bigger ensemble films. And I cannot wait, especially where that credit scene left him, to see where he goes moving forward.
And it's cool that, like, as much as they could ape off of Endgame and Infinity War, they still made plenty of callbacks to Homecoming. With, like, hey, my class isn't stupid. They'll figure out I'm Spider-Man if I show up on another class trip. Like,
yeah.
That, like, yeah, sure, they're going to talk about Tony's death. They're going to talk about the fact that, like, Peter got snapped for 5 years. Like, but he's like, hey, I'm a teenager, and, like, sure, the universe ending is a big problem, but, like, me not having a social life is a bigger problem to me, and, like, I'm trying to get this chick that likes, like, to like me, and in order to do that, I need to talk to her. So that needs to be a thing, like, now.
And in order to do that, I can't be Spider-Man. I gotta be Peter Parker right now. But yeah, I love what Marvel and Jon Watts are doing with this take on Spider-Man.
I saw a funny tweet the other day. It was like, Tom Holland's contract ends with Spider-Man 3, and the guy retweeted it and put, his contract ends when I say it ends.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, though, where they take this character, because this is very, especially for movie Spider-Man, where that credit scene left him is completely uncharted territory.
Like, he's never,
for live
I know
action.
he's, like, revealed who he was, but I don't think he was ever this young.
No,
never this young.
The big one was during Civil War when he unmasks himself as a full-grown adult and then immediately gets the devil to undo it.
Yeah, but then after Civil War, he uses Doctor Strange to, yeah, he does. He uses Doctor Strange to erase everyone's memory.
No.
You sure?
It's the devil. Unraces everybody's memory.
Oh, I thought
He
it was
sells
Doctor
his marriage in order to do it.
One more day.
And then there's another book, because everybody was so incensed about the fact he made a deal with the devil, that they make the deal with the devil, but then the devil makes it so that way Doctor Strange and Reed Richards combine magic and science to undo everybody remembering it for Peter Parker.
Amnesia Storm.
Exactly.
Jeez. Comics are dumb.
Which sounds like that would be the name of, like, a vodka.
Probably.
Amnesia Storm.
But just to mention, like, just because we have Homecoming on now,
Yeah.
and to talk about your point of him using the shield and, like, the makeshift hammer in order to go, like, that's Spider-Man using, like, his natural intuition to, like, get through a problem.
Mm.
A lot of Far From Home and Homecoming is him relying on the tech that Tony gives him.
Yeah.
Granted, in Far From Home, the last suit he makes himself.
Yeah, I mean, in this movie, he fights Vulture in his homemade suit.
Yeah, and so like when he goes back to the core of who he is when he's the best Spider-Man. Which is why I kind of hope that, like, in the third movie, he's using a more stripped down, like, pretty, like, solid suit of, like, mostly his stuff. Because, like, even when he's talking to Quentin Beck about the science under Venice, he's like, hey, here's a scientific concept, and Peter just goes.
Yeah.
And then
he's like, oh my god, this is completely... And he's just like,
this would completely, like, destroy M-Theory, like... But yeah.
My Spider-Man.
Yep.
Oh yeah, best Spider-Man by far. Best Spider-Man and best Peter Parker. Like, beforehand, you had to choose, like, this guy was better Peter Parker.
See, for a while, I was like, oh, Andrew Garfield was a great... But, like, I think I remember me being like, I thought he was a great Spider-Man. He wasn't. He really wasn't.
No.
Like, the fact that he spends the first half of the first movie, like, hunting people down
Yeah.
to kill them...
Yeah.
Like,
Well, no, that's very in line with Spider-Man from the comics.
yeah, but, like, that he catches that one dude who, like, was breaking into the car.
Yeah.
And he's just like, you're lucky. This could have gotten a lot worse. And I was like, you're 15. What are you gonna do? Like,
Yeah, I
15,
didn't
but
like.
you look like you're 30.
yeah.
Like,
Well,
I
that's
honestly,
every Peter Parker, but this one.
I would.
This one's
take-
30, but he looks like he's 15.
I would take Spider-Man 3 over either of the Amazing Spider-Man movies.
Yikes.
Spider-Man 3 was bad and it had a ton of problems, but at least it tried things. Where the Amazing Spider-Man movies to me felt like just the laziest half-ass reboots imaginable.
But, so is that going to wrap us up for Spider-Man?
I believe that's
think
going to wrap
that
us up for
does.
Spider-Man. So I think we're going to call this episode to an end.
Do you want to give our
Vamp.
social media?
Vamp.
What?
You vamp. That's what that is, a vamping. We're plugging.
Yeah, we're plugging.
vamping.
I'm like, why are we vamping? I thought we were ending.
Oh, yeah,
We've been
that's right.
vamping for a little
Oh,
while.
that's, yeah, I was thinking of plug.
Instagram, look for us at comicsbnc.
And on Twitter, I remembered it since the last time. It is at Brew Comics because I got the solid web handle on that one.
Web handle.
Hey.